There was a kid who was out to dinner with his family, and this woman at the table next to him was coughing hard. The lady's date stood up. Everyone's kind of like, yo, is she okay? She kept waving around like, I'm fine, I'm fine. Finally, she coughed something up and spit it on the floor and went right back to eating with her date. Anyways, so I grew up in New Hampshire. And that kid was so weirded out. He's like, what was that? Also, gross. Also, what did she spit out? And he got a closer look. What the heck? Sitting there, covered in her mucus and food on the floor, was one of those tiny plastic babies. What? And like I said, she was just casually eating again, like nothing had happened. And for the rest of dinner, the kid barely touched his food because could not figure out how that tiny baby got in there in the first place. That's weird. This kid bet his friend, I bet you I can go an entire Saturday without using my hands. The entire Saturday. His friend was like, okay, but I picked the Saturday, and it's gonna be this Saturday, which is the same day as my birthday party. So the rule was, if he touched anything with his hands, he would lose the bet. His friend thought he maybe would last an hour, but no, this kid took it seriously. Opened doors with his feet, turned light switches on with his nose. He ate breakfast off a plate like a dog. Then that afternoon was his friend's birthday party. He gets there, and everyone's eating pizza. His friend goes, good luck, dude. You're definitely losing this bet. Kid looks around. Now, like I said, everyone's eating pizza. He's hungry. How is he gonna do this? So what he does is he goes to the old people table. Hey guys, I'm not feeling too well today. Can one of you go get me a plate of 3 slices of pizza? Sure, kid, I'll go get you some pizza. The old guy goes to get him some pizza, comes back. The kid says, oh, I'm not feeling too well, like I said. Could you please feed me the pizza? Sure, I'll feed you the pizza. And the old guy starts feeding this kid the pizza. His friend is sitting all the way over at a different table and he's like, no frickin' way, dude. That's crazy. Well, the kid wins the bet. Everyone's asking, so how much did you guys make the bet for? And he says, oh, $5. $5. And that's how hard he went on that bet. What a legend. You gotta respect it. This kid figured out how to turn junk at yard sales valuable. He would go to thrift stores and buy these old looking things, like an ugly brass lamp, or a wooden box, a small statue. He got the stuff for like $3 or $4 each. Then he would go home and make these professional looking cards, history cards, and kind of stain the paper to make it look old and then like laminate it. It was these elaborate stories that he would make up, like this lamp belongs to a New York City hotel. During the 1940s, the president stayed here. And that's obviously not true, but a guy walked up. Hey, this is a piece of history. I'll give you $30 for it. Bingo, deal. Another one. This box was found during the clean out of a 100-year-old farmhouse. Hey, this one. I like it. I want it. $40. None of this stuff was true. He was scamming the neighborhood every single time. His parents finally asked him, hey, how do you know all this stuff? And he just said, I don't. I made it up. And they're like, bruh. And they made him stop that for good. But he made hundreds of dollars. And for that I say, gotta respect the hustle. This kid learned how to cut hair over the summer. And right before school started, he decided he needed to practice. So he texted a bunch of kids. Free haircuts at my house tonight. And people showed up. The first kid, hey, can I get a fade? He gave him a fade. It was horrible. Just buzz it off. The second haircut wasn't much better either. The third, not good. And then the fourth kid sat down. All right, man, I'm ready. All right, here we go. And somehow, the dude absolutely nailed it. Perfect, clean lineup. Kid looks in the mirror and goes, wait, bro, this is actually sick. He then took a picture and sent it to everybody. And that changed everything. Everybody who saw the first 3 haircuts and were making fun of him were now asking for haircuts themselves. By 10 p.m., there's a line of kids out front, everyone's sitting, waiting their frickin' turn. And when it got dark out, his dad brought out his huge lights. There you go, buddy, now you can see. He kept cutting and he didn't finish until after midnight. The next morning at school, there's just tons of kids there with perfect fades and amazing haircuts. Wow, Johnny, who cut your hair? Steven! That's right. You gotta respect the haircut. This teacher had a rule for passing notes. It's a very common rule. If I catch you passing notes, I will take it and read it in front of the entire class. And obviously, these middle schoolers were writing stuff in these notes that they did not want to be read in class. So a group of kids came up with a system. They still passed their real notes, but every single kid in that class also kept a separate note folded in their pocket. This was the backup note, and every single backup note was specifically written about the teacher, but it was good stuff. Stuff like, honestly, I think Mrs. Taylor is the best teacher in school. Or, do you think she knows she's everyone's favorite teacher? So whenever the teacher caught someone passing notes, Ralphie, I saw that, give me it. Okay, here. Mrs. Taylor explains math so much better than any other teacher I've ever had. Oh, wait. Well, that's a good note. And it worked every single time. She never caught on, and she read notes a lot, and they were all about her. I think she just liked the praise. And honestly, those kids are genius. There was a kid whose parents waited years for this kid to take a good yearbook photo. Every year he'd ruin it somehow. Weird smiled, he was blinking. One year he was holding in a sneeze. But by now, he was in high school, and his parents figured, okay, this could be it. He's finally old enough, this year he's gonna take a nice picture. So they bought him a really nice outfit specifically for picture day. And this year, they ordered a huge photo package ahead of time to give to family members to get some framed, wallet-sized pictures for grandma. I'm Grandma. So the kid looking sharp, he gets to school, he sits down, it's his turn. But then right before his picture, his friend hands him this enormous fake mustache. The kid sticks it on, and he's sitting there thinking, there's no way this photographer is gonna let me wear this, but we'll see. The photographer looks at him, adjusts the camera, and all the photographer says is, smile, perfect. The kid couldn't believe it. The photographer didn't care. They took the picture with the mustache. A few weeks later, a giant envelope shows up to this kid's house. Oh, finally, the pictures are here. I can't wait to see how good they turn out. What? Boy, was she mad. But they paid for these photos, so the picture with him and the mustache on got framed on the wall. His grandma got a tiny little one with him with the mustache, and all was well, I guess. That kid is hilarious. No video games until all chores for the day are finished. Every night his parents would write this thing on a whiteboard that's on the fridge. It was chores for the next day. They wrote them that night so that when he came home from school, he did them. They thought this would stop him from sitting on Xbox all night. Instead, this kid began waking up at 4 a.m. every morning. His parents would wake up at 7. Wait, dishwasher's done, laundry's folded, garbage is out, Billy, your room's clean. Yeah, that's right. He goes to school, comes home, immediately gets on the Xbox. Hey, you know that... Oh, wait, you finished it already. Everything. Oh, your homework. It's finished. On the table, underneath my folder. Nice. And his mom is trying to say stuff like, you cannot wake up at 4 in the morning and do all of your chores just so when you can come home, you can play Xbox all night. Everything's done, right? Well, I mean, yeah. And you're not going to be petty and make up more chores just so I won't play, right? I mean, no. Well, then what's the problem, Missy? Oh. And he was right, and his grades were good, and he never woke them up when he woke up early. So although his parents wanted to stop him, there was kind of nothing they could do. So he just kept doing it. What a legend. This kid's dad had a rule about cereal. You were not allowed to open a new box until the old one was completely gone. Every last crumb had to be eaten. The boxes would stay on top of the refrigerator, lined up in order from oldest to newest. If box 1 wasn't finished, box 2 would not be opened. One afternoon, this kid's dad came home with a brand new cereal that looked absolutely delicious. Oh, that looks so good. Kids got so excited until they remembered, dude, doesn't your dad have a rule about cereal? Because there was still 6 boxes of cereal still on that fridge. So his friend, who was sleeping over that night, looked at each other. Let's eat them all then. Okay. For the next hour and a half, they ate bowl after bowl of cereal. There's like Frosted Flakes, Raisin Bran, Cocoa Puffs. By the time they finally reached a brand new box, they were so full of cereal and milk, this kid's friend puked on the floor. And then that made him puke. Neither of them could take another bite. Guess we'll just try it tomorrow morning then. Yeah, I guess you're right. The dad came downstairs, looked at this mess, and knew exactly what happened. Then he just laughed to himself. That's crazy. This dad would charge his kids anytime they left something out, like dirty clothes in the floor, shoes in the hallway, dishes in the sink, backpack on the stairs. Every single time they had to pay him their own money. You see, his kids had gotten an allowance when they were younger, and then when they were old enough, they both had weekend jobs, so they had money to pay whenever this happened. Every time they had to give him money, he would write it down in a notebook. The kids thought it was ridiculous. The dad thought he was running a business. For years, they complained about this. Complained about how much money he had taken from them. Then, on the day each of them graduated high school, the dad handed them an envelope. Inside of each of their envelopes was every single dollar he had ever charged them, along with a handwritten list showing exactly what every fine was for. And at the bottom of that list was another note. It said, interest. He had been adding extra money on top of everything they paid him. The dad smiled and said, I never wanted your money, kids. I just wanted you to stop leaving your junk all over my house. And I figured this would be a nice, fun way to help get your adult life started. The kids cried. They said that they spent years thinking about how strict their dad was, only to realize he'd been saving every single penny for them and adding a lot more of his own money to it as well. That's amazing. This dad would charge his kids. This kid lived right next to an ice cream stand, and his bedroom window faced it directly. So in the summer, when the ice cream stand was busy, his window faced the line. People would stand in line for this ice cream shack for over an hour sometimes. One afternoon, as he was watching this line, he noticed a family step out because their kid got too hot. That's when he had an idea. He opened his window and he made signs. $1. Water. Umbrella rental, $3. His initial idea was to give people water while they waited and maybe an umbrella to shade them from the sun. And business was popping immediately. But this wasn't enough for him. He went to the store with his parents one day and bought stacks of ice cream bars, kind of like what an ice cream truck had. And then he made menus. He began selling his own ice cream that he bought from the store right next to the line of the actual ice cream shop. And when the wait was too long, they went over to him. Yeah, I'm not waiting in this line anymore. I'll get 2 SpongeBob popsicles. He made absolute bank. There was a bit of a war between him and the manager of the ice cream shop, but there was nothing he could do about it. It went on all summer. And he made like $600. You've got to respect the hustle. This kid started the dumbest rumor at school. He told one of his friends, hey, did you know the cafeteria has a secret menu? His friend was like what? And without even thinking, the kid says, grilled mac and cheese sandwiches. Now, that's not true. The cafeteria does not have a secret menu, and they definitely don't make grilled mac and cheese sandwiches. But the next day, the kid he told went to the lunch line, walked up there and said, hey, can I get the grilled mac? A what? She was like, no, we don't make that. But the rumor kept spreading. By Friday, like 20 kids asked for it. The lunch ladies kept saying, we don't have that. But this kid, he kind of upped the rumors a bit by saying, oh no, you have to ask the right lunch lady for it. Or only 8th graders know how to say it. It got so ridiculous, the principal was like, yo, what is going on? This went on for a while until one day, the cafeteria was serving mac and cheese, and they had bread and butter. So one of the lunch ladies in the kitchen was like, you know what? Fine, let's make some grilled mac and cheese. And let me tell you, apparently, it was absolutely delicious. When someone came up there and ordered it, and they actually said yes, cheers began erupting throughout the cafeteria. They loved it, and I guess that was enough for them, because after that day, nobody ever asked again. Gotta respect the lunch ladies. This kid started the dumbest. This kid hid Monopoly money all over school. He would tape them under desks, hide them in library books, taped one underneath the drinking fountain. Well, soon enough, people started to find them, and then more people started to find them. At first, it was a joke, but kids began using this Monopoly money to buy snacks off their friends. I have $200 in Monopoly money. Can I have your pudding? After a month or two, this Monopoly money basically became the school's currency. Kids were buying pencils from each other, like I said, snacks. They were settling bets, and nobody knew who started it. One day, a 5th grader tried paying a 6th grader $5 in real money for their lunch snack. He said, if it's not Monopoly money, I don't want it. And just like that, like a lot of my other stories, the principal had to make an announcement. It was a big